Have you ever felt like life is moving faster than you can keep up with? Maybe you look back and realize the years have gone by in the blink of an eye, and suddenly you're asking yourself, did I make the most of it? Did I really pay attention to what mattered? I've been there too, and that feeling can be unsettling. But what if I told you there's a simple, powerful exercise that can bring clarity, reflection, and even a sense of peace about the years you've lived? That exercise is writing a letter to yourself, and not just any letter, but one that speaks directly to the person you are right now, at this stage of your life. Writing a letter to yourself at 60, 65, or even later isn't just a sentimental activity. It's an opportunity to reconnect with your inner voice, to acknowledge your experiences, and to set intentions for the years you still have ahead. I know some of you might be thinking, why would I write a letter to myself? I can just think about it. But there's something about putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard that makes your thoughts tangible. It slows you down. It makes you reflect in a way that a fleeting thought or casual conversation rarely does. In this video, I want to explore why writing this letter can be transformative, how it can help you find perspective, and practical ways to start. We'll talk about why it's never too late to connect with yourself, how acknowledging both your struggles and your victories can bring peace, and how you can use this letter as a compass for the future. Even if you've never journaled or written a reflective note before, this is simple enough to start today, and its benefits can surprise you. Let's start with the first reason to write a letter to yourself at 60, reflection and clarity. Life is complicated, and at this age, it's easy to feel like the years have rushed by without pause. Writing a letter gives you a dedicated moment to slow down and look back. You can revisit challenges you overcame, joys you might have overlooked, and the lessons life has quietly taught you. Personally, I remember sitting down one afternoon with a cup of tea, pen in hand, and trying to recount what the last 10 years had truly meant to me. At first, it felt awkward, like talking to a stranger. But then something remarkable happened. I started seeing patterns, moments of growth, and even mistakes that taught me more than I realized. That clarity isn't just comforting, it's empowering. The second reason is acknowledgement of self. Often, as we age, we're so busy caring for others, children, grandchildren, friends, even neighbors, that we forget to acknowledge our own journey. Writing a letter allows you to honor your achievements, your resilience, and the courage it took to navigate life's twists and turns. You might write about moments that made you proud, or even times you stumbled but kept going. The act of writing these down is a gentle reminder that your life matters, not just in what you do for others, but in the story you've lived and are still living. The third reason is releasing unspoken feelings. So many of us carry regrets, unexpressed gratitude, or unresolved emotions that weigh on our hearts. Sometimes, these feelings aren't meant to be shared with anyone else, they're meant to be acknowledged within yourself. When you write a letter, you create a safe space to express these emotions honestly. You can forgive yourself for past mistakes, thank yourself for persevering, or even send love and compassion to a younger version of yourself who needed it. I've found that this kind of reflection can feel surprisingly freeing. It's like unburdening your heart and finally giving your mind a break from replaying old scenarios over and over. One of the most beautiful aspects of this exercise is that it's completely personal and private. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You can write as formally or informally as you like. You can recount your life chronologically, or jump between memories and lessons. You can write it as if you're speaking to a friend, or as if you're counseling your younger self with wisdom and kindness. The point isn't to impress anyone, it's to connect with yourself in an honest, meaningful way. This freedom is particularly liberating after decades of living in ways that often prioritized others' expectations over your own. Another practical benefit of writing a letter to yourself is seeing your growth over time. If you make a habit of writing periodically, maybe once a year or every few years, you create a tangible record of how your thoughts, priorities, and perspectives have evolved. I've started doing this, and it's incredible to read letters I wrote 5 or 10 years ago. Some of the challenges I was facing then seem smaller now, and I can see how I've grown, adapted, and learned from life's hurdles. It's a reminder that even when things feel difficult in the present, you have the resilience and wisdom to move forward. Before we move on, I want to offer a gentle suggestion for starting your letter. You might begin with a simple statement, such as, "Dear me, at 60, and then write about your life, your feelings, or even your hopes for the next chapter. Include the things you're grateful for, the lessons you've learned, and even the dreams that you still want to pursue. The act of committing these thoughts to paper transforms them from abstract ideas into something real, something you can revisit whenever you need guidance, comfort, or encouragement." So far, we've explored reflection and clarity, acknowledgement of self, releasing unspoken feelings, the freedom to write honestly, and the ability to track your growth over time. Each of these reasons on its own is powerful, but together, they create a framework for self-connection that is both profound and healing. This is why taking the time to write a letter to yourself at 60, or any age, can be one of the most meaningful exercises you do. Now that we've covered the first few reasons to write this letter, we'll continue in the next part by exploring how it can serve as a guide for your future, strengthen your sense of purpose, and even deepen your relationships with others. Writing to yourself isn't just about looking back, it's a tool to help you navigate the years ahead with intention, wisdom, and peace. And feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Now that we've explored how writing a letter to yourself can help you reflect, acknowledge your journey, and release unspoken feelings, let's dive into another powerful aspect of this practice, using it as a guide for the future. At 60, many of us start thinking more deeply about what the years ahead might hold. You might wonder, what do I want my life to look like? How do I want to feel? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Writing a letter to yourself provides a unique opportunity to answer these questions, not in a rushed or pressured way, but with honesty and intention. When you write to yourself, you're essentially giving your present self a chance to have a conversation with your future self. You can outline hopes, set gentle intentions, and even remind yourself of the principles that matter most. For instance, I wrote a letter a few months ago where I reminded myself to prioritize health, to nurture relationships that bring joy, and to let go of grudges that only weigh me down. Reading it back later, I realized how much clarity and guidance it gave me. It was like having a trusted advisor inside my own mind, one who knew my history and understood my heart. Another incredible benefit is that writing a letter strengthens your sense of purpose. At this stage of life, it's easy to feel like the best years are behind you or that opportunities have passed. But the truth is, purpose isn't limited by age, it's about intention, contribution, and living authentically. When you write to yourself, you can outline small goals, meaningful activities, or ways to share your wisdom with others. For example, I wrote about spending more time with family, exploring hobbies I had put aside, and mentoring younger people in my community. By putting these intentions on paper, they feel more tangible and achievable. It's no longer just a thought floating in your mind, it becomes a plan, a gentle guide for the days and months ahead. Writing a letter to yourself also allows you to process regrets and cultivate forgiveness. By the time we reach our 60s, most of us carry regrets, moments we wish we had handled differently, words we wish we hadn't said, or opportunities we might have missed. Sometimes, these regrets linger and quietly affect our happiness. But writing a letter creates a safe space to confront these feelings without judgment. You can acknowledge your mistakes, accept that you did your best at the time, and even offer yourself forgiveness. I remember writing to myself about a professional opportunity one had passed on decades ago. At first, I felt a twinge of disappointment, but as I continued writing, I realized that my life had led me to other meaningful experiences I might never have had otherwise. That letter helped me release the lingering sense of what if and embrace the choices I had made. One of my favorite aspects of this practice is how it can strengthen relationships with others indirectly. You might be thinking, how does writing to myself help my relationships? Well, when you take the time to understand your own heart, your own needs, and your own experiences, you naturally become more patient, empathetic, and present with those around you. I've noticed that after writing letters to myself, I'm more willing to listen, to communicate openly, and to let go of petty frustrations with friends and family. It's like the letter acts as a rehearsal space for kindness and understanding, where you learn to treat yourself with compassion first, which then extends outward. Another practical tip is to revisit your letters periodically. Life is dynamic, and our priorities and perspectives shift over time. By reading your old letters, you can see patterns, celebrate growth, and even adjust your intentions as needed. I've kept letters from the past 10 years, and it's fascinating to see the evolution of my thoughts, my values, and my dreams. Some of my worries back then seem trivial now, and some of the hopes I wrote about have come to fruition in unexpected ways. This habit turns writing into an ongoing dialogue with yourself, rather than a one-time exercise, making it even more powerful. It's also worth mentioning that writing a letter doesn't have to be time-consuming or intimidating. You don't need to craft a perfect narrative or search for the right words. The most important thing is honesty. Begin with a simple greeting, like "Dear me at 60, and let your thoughts flow naturally. Share your worries, your triumphs, your dreams, and even your doubts. Treat it like a conversation with a trusted friend, because in many ways, that's exactly what it is. Finally, writing a letter can be a source of comfort and motivation during difficult times. There will be days when life feels heavy, when health challenges, family issues, or financial worries weigh on your mind. Having a letter you've written to yourself, full of encouragement and perspective, can be a gentle reminder that you have faced challenges before and have the inner resources to navigate them. I keep a few of my letters in a drawer, and whenever I feel overwhelmed, reading them feels like receiving a warm hug from my own past self. It's a simple but profound way to reconnect with your strength and resilience. So far, we've explored how letters can guide your future, strengthen your purpose, help you process regrets, improve relationships, and provide comfort during challenging times. In the next part, we'll dive even deeper into how writing to yourself can inspire gratitude, spark creativity, and ultimately lead to a sense of peace and fulfillment that lasts for years to come. As we continue, let's talk about one of the most beautiful outcomes of writing a letter to yourself, cultivating gratitude. When you take the time to write about your life, you naturally start to notice the little things you might have overlooked, the small joys, the quiet victories, the everyday moments that make life meaningful. Maybe it's the laughter of a grandchild, a long-forgotten hobby that still brings you joy, or simply the comfort of a morning cup of tea in peace. By writing these moments down, you're acknowledging them, celebrating them, and giving yourself the gift of gratitude. And gratitude has a ripple effect. It shifts your mindset, makes challenges feel more manageable, and helps you approach each day with a sense of appreciation rather than worry. Writing a letter to yourself can also spark creativity and curiosity. At 60 and beyond, many people feel like their creative years are behind them, that they've missed their chance to explore new ideas or passions. But the truth is, creativity doesn't retire. When you write freely to yourself, without pressure or judgment, you often discover thoughts, dreams, or ideas you didn't know were there. You might plan a trip you've always wanted, finally start that painting, or pick up a hobby you abandoned years ago. Writing opens a door to possibilities you might have forgotten or thought were out of reach, and that in itself can be incredibly energizing. Another profound benefit is finding peace and closure. Life is full of unresolved questions, lingering regrets, or unfinished conversations. Writing a letter provides a safe space to address these feelings without needing validation from anyone else. You can express forgiveness to others, reconcile with past mistakes, or even give yourself permission to move forward without carrying unnecessary burdens. I remember writing a letter to myself about a friendship that had ended badly. By putting my feelings into words, I was able to release resentment and finally find peace. It was as if the act of writing created a bridge between my past and my present, allowing me to step into my future with a lighter heart. Writing letters to yourself can also serve as a reminder of your strength and resilience. At 60, life has likely presented its share of challenges, health concerns, career changes, losses, or personal struggles. When you revisit your letters over time, you can see how far you've come, how you've adapted, and how you've survived. I often reread letters from a few years back and am struck by my own courage. It's a humbling and empowering experience to realize that the person who faced difficulties back then is still here, wiser and stronger, capable of facing what lies ahead. Practical tips can make this exercise even more impactful. Consider writing your letter in a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be interrupted. Allow yourself at least 30 minutes, though it's okay to write as long or as short as you feel. Don't worry about grammar or style, the value lies in your honesty and openness. Date each letter so you can revisit it later and observe how your thoughts and feelings have evolved. You might even write multiple letters, addressing different aspects of your life, one for gratitude, one for dreams, and one for forgiveness. Finally, one of the most rewarding aspects of writing to yourself is the sense of connection it fosters with your own life. At 60, it's easy to feel disconnected at times, caught between memories of the past and uncertainty about the future. A letter helps you anchor yourself in the present, recognize the journey you've been on, and embrace the years ahead with intention. It's a way to honor yourself, your experiences, and the wisdom you've gained. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes, almost like an ongoing conversation with a friend who knows you better than anyone, yourself. So, to sum up, writing a letter to yourself at 60 offers reflection and clarity, acknowledgement of your life and achievements, a safe space for emotions, guidance for the future, strength and purpose, release of regrets, better relationships, comfort during challenges, gratitude, creativity, closure, and a deeper connection with your own journey. It's a simple, powerful practice that anyone can do, and its effects can be transformative. I encourage you to try it today. Sit down, pick up a pen, and write. Don't worry about perfection or structure, just let your heart guide the words. Share your experience if you feel comfortable in the comments, or simply keep the letter as a personal treasure to revisit whenever you need insight, encouragement, or peace. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, and consider subscribing to the channel for more content that inspires self-reflection and meaningful living. Remember, life at 60 and beyond is still full of opportunity, growth, and discovery. By taking the time to connect with yourself, you're not just reflecting on the past, you're shaping the years ahead with wisdom, intention, and love. Here's to embracing your journey, celebrating your life, and writing the letters that remind you just how valuable and resilient you truly are. Life is still full of possibilities, and it's never too late to start paying attention to the voice that matters most, your own.